Let me share with you something that just happened just before I start my run. I was about to leave the house, like, come out of my room, when suddenly my wife said, there's this call. So I said, who is it? She said, it's from the bank. So I said, what do they want? She said, they bought a gift for you. They want to meet you. So for me, I told my wife, I don't want to meet anyone. You meet, take the gift, whatever. So, my wife was cleaning the house. Obviously, she was wearing normal clothes. I was in my room. I didn't come out. So the car stops. It's a nice looking car. Two females came out, dressed up in their uniform. My wife made them sit outside. And as they were sitting, I was watching on the camera. They were talking. I kind of had a gut feeling that they would be trying to sell an insurance product or some financial product of investment. So they spoke for some time. They asked her, my wife, where is your husband? So she told he's busy. They're okay, fine, whatever, blah, blah, and they went off. After they left, my wife came in my room and she said, yeah, they just met her. So I said, where's the gift? She said, they didn't give any. So I said, okay. She asked me, why did they tell lies? I said, no, they had the gift. Saying, how do you know? I said, I know how these people work. They had the gift, but when they came out of the car, if they didn't see me, they wouldn't take out the gift. They saw you. And they're like, if we give the gift, then the gift goes for free and we don't get anything. So no use. We keep it inside. But if we give the gift and we get something, then we'll give. I reminded my wife, in life, there's never, something for nothing. There's always something for something. If someone gives you a gift or someone gives you something, they expect something in return. So my wife kept quiet. And I also reminded my wife one more thing. I said, did you notice one more thing? She said, no. I said, I was watching from the camera. They spoke to you, they asked you, where am I? They were very nice and all that. After you told them I'm busy and all that, they left without giving you much importance. She said, yeah, I felt that way. So I told my wife, they talk to you that way because they don't care about you. They don't care about you because they know you're not rich. They know that you're living a good life only because of me. So the respect that they're giving you is only because, not because of me, is because of the money that I have. Then my wife thought about it and she said, yeah, I also notice the same thing when I go to the market, the fruit and vegetable market. When I go there, when I'm with you, everyone's like, hello, Swadika, smiling and everything else. But when I go alone, nobody looks up at me. I said, yeah, because they look at me as a foreigner, a walking ATM machine. A machine where they can get money. So obviously they're giving their pleasant reason. It's not that they are bad. It's not that they're evil. It's not that, oh, see how fake, shallow people are. No. This is the reality anywhere in the world. If you're rich, if you're powerful, if you're influential, if you can be of some benefit, if there is a possibility that you can be of some benefit to them, they will kiss your ass. They will give you sweet talk. They will give you a smile. In fact, many of them are ready to bend over and let you do it up wherever you want, whichever way you want. Why? Because money talks, That's as simple as it. It's not because my personality is so great. Oh, he's a celebrity. No. People look at me as, oh, this guy's loaded with cash. If I'm nice to him. See, now, for example, my YouTube channel. Why people are calling us, sir, please, sir. Loy, big fan of yours, bro. Wow, amazing. Why they are being so nice to me? Because I'm of some use to them. Information, contacts, connections, money. So that's why, had I been some ordinary guy, let's say a gardener, a cleaner, you think anybody would call me sir? You think anyone would give me respect? See, today people are calling me sir. Today people are like, give me, hey, Mr. Loy, or they talk to me nicely, hey, big fan of yours, whatever. Where were these same people in 2011 when I was penniless and homeless on the streets? When I was poor, I didn't have money to eat food. Who called me sir? Who called me Mr. Loy? Who gave me respect? Nobody did. Nobody cared a damn. Nobody even picked up my phone. But today, after I slogged and I've got the money and I've got everything, why so many are coming running towards me? It's as simple as money talks. And there's nothing to feel bad about. I just reminded my wife that if tomorrow I die, if tomorrow I'm not there, your life is finished. Nobody is going to be nice to you. Nobody is going to be polite to you. Nobody is even going to say hello. Be it you or be it our daughter. In fact, a real shocking example, let me give you, is a person that I knew. Her husband, after he died, when he was alive, everyone was nice to him and sweet to him and all that. He died, and then they had a legal dispute with creditors, debtors, and this and that, and they lost a lot of their money. So the wife, attractive woman, but good lady, she went and asked his so-called friends. Most of them didn't pick up the phone. Most of them didn't bother. Some of them gave, yeah, I will get back to you. Sweet talk. There were some who helped. But where she got a shock of her life was the people who she expected would be there for her, who were supposed to be the so-called good friends, they showed their true color. They were not interested. They were not bothered. In fact, where she got a shock of her life, and that is where, she contacted me, was a person who she thought was the closest. He told her, why don't you come one night with me? I'll solve all your problems. I just kept quiet. I just listened to what she had to say. And I told her, when she was crying and telling me, I said, don't let this get to your heart, because this is exactly the statement one man had told my mother. When my mother asked for a visa in UAE, she asked this judge of her high court help for the visa for her, and because there was some problem with the sponsor. My mother was with my father's sister, who is no more, young girl. He told right on her face, come one night, you and her, all your problems will be sorted out. Oh. He's holding a chicken upside down. So I listened to my mother. My mother told me she was a little shocked, but she knew how men are, so she didn't feel bad about it. But this poor lady, she was literally crying. She was sobbing uncontrollably because she was still mourning the loss of her husband. And now the so-called friends were showing their true colors. So what I want to tell you through this video is like, stop believing. See, I'm not saying stop believing in the goodness of mankind, but stop expecting things from people. Stop having a sense of entitlement. The world doesn't owe you anything. You can be helping the poor every single day of your life. You can be involved in charity. You can donate everything that you have for your relatives, your friends. But the day you need, nobody will be there. In fact, this Hindi movie, Amitabh Bachchan starred in it, is Baghban. Baghban? Or I watched this movie, even though I don't watch Hindi movies, I watched this movie. This movie will make you depressed and you'll cry. Huh? It's a very slow movie. It's a little excessively dramatic, but it conveys the message powerfully. I watched this movie multiple number of times, and sometimes I know I feel ashamed saying this, but I have to look at it and cry. I have to literally cry, because the father, long story short in this, the father, Amitabh Bachchan and Hema Malini, who play the father and mother, they have these children, 3-4 boys, who they take care, give them everything, and these boys, they love the parents, and he has also adopted an orphan. He loves these children so much. And he's working in a bank. He has taken bank loans for the children and for their education and all that. One day when he finally retires from the bank, and now he wants to spend time with the children and the grandchildren. And he tells him, okay, you decide whose house should I be staying. And he tells his wife, the children would be fighting. They would say, no, Mama and Papa have to stay with me. Another one will say, oh no, Mama and Papa say, I love them more than you. So the father and mother is expecting that they will fight over to have the father stay with them. But then the camera shows that these people are in the room and they are not fighting over the parents, like my parents should come. They are like, who the fuck wants to call these people, man? Oh, I'm too busy. Who's going to manage their expense? Who's going to take care? And then finally, to discourage the mother and father from coming, they say, let's do this. Father and mother have never been separated. You say you'll make the father stay with you, I'll make the mother stay with me. We'll separate them, their heart will break, then they wouldn't want to stay. And they actually engineer a method by which the father and mother are separated. Even though the father doesn't want to agree, they separate. But then, they start treating the mother and father very badly. Like the father always likes to read the newspaper, being the head of the family. And every day his wife used to give him the newspaper to read. But now when he wants to sit and read the newspaper, the daughter-in-law grabs the paper. What are you doing? This is for the husband. And why are you sitting at the head of the table? Sit there. This is only for the head of the family. So the father gets embarrassed, And then the mother is made to work like a maid in the house. And they abuse the mother. So it's a very emotional, tear-jerking. I mean, your heart will really go there. I keep looking at it, I'm like, fuck, man. And then the funny thing is, this is one scene which you have to see. I see it so many times, even though I've seen it. Finally, they get fed up and they leave the house. The mother and father. They leave and now they're trying to come back home. So they take a train or bus or whatever. And then they're passing by this nice little showroom. And this showroom, there is this car, Ford. I think they must have sponsored this movie. So he's telling the wife, the father is telling the mother, remember, I always wanted to drive this car. So that time a salesman comes out and says, yeah, why don't you sit and drive? We'll go for a test drive. He's like, no, listen, I don't want. He wants to tell him I don't have money, but he said, no, just come. Even if you don't have money, we can arrange, just have a test drive. So he's very happy. Goes for a test drive. And after he finishes the test drive, he comes out. The salesman is like, so did you enjoy the car? Yeah, it's a great car. I really liked it. Fantastic, great machine. He's saying, okay, since you enjoyed the car, you like the ride, come, let's sign the papers. And now you take ownership of this car. You buy the car. He's saying, no, see, listen, I didn't want to buy the car. I just wanted to test it because you said, no, don't worry. Even if you don't have money, you can buy. He said, no, I don't want to buy. He keeps forcing him. Finally, the hero, that is Amitabh Bachchan, who plays the father, he says, listen, man, I don't have the money to buy this. I can't afford it. This is not my status. So the salesman gets angry and says, this is not your status. It's not your status. Then who the hell asked you to drive this car? How dare you? And then he kind of slaps him and to throw him out. As he's about to fall, he falls into the arms of his that orphan boy who he looked after. I'm kind of getting emotional when I say this. I feel like crying, It's like the same boy in an orphanage when he was coming out. They show a scene where one small boy is, saying that, please, can I polish your shoes? So he's like, why do you want to polish shoes? He's saying, I want to polish your shoes so that I can study. So Amitabh, the father, says, listen, I don't want you to polish shoes to study. I'll sponsor your education. I get very emotional when I say, even though that it was overacting, they don't know how to act some of these actors. But it kind of gives you the essence. So he had paid for all his education. So now when this guy slaps him, that salesman, and Amitabh is going to fall, the other hero is played by Salman Khan. He's standing there and I get so emotional when I say this. He holds the father. And then he says, Dad. So he's saying, oh, my son, oh, you're here. So then he says, one second, Dad. And then he goes to, he's the manager of the Ford showroom, and he slaps the sales guy. And the father says, no, it's okay. And then he takes them home. And once he takes them home, see, his real children, they made them stay like cleaners and all that. But this guy, the orphan son, he treats them like God. He puts their photograph, like when they come to pray, the father and mother, he sees that he has kept his image where the image of the parents is, and he's praying to the parents. And then when Amitabh wants to, they're going to eat food on the table. You know, at the head of the table, he used to sit before, but now because his own children insulted him, and when he tried to sit at the head, they said, you sit there. This is for the head of the family. So Amitabh was going to come and sit at the head of the, he was like, oh, this guy might shout at me. So he goes to the side. When he goes to the side, this boy, who is supposed to be his orphan son, he's not his real son, and the daughter says, no, Dad, you're the head of the family. And he makes them sit there, you know. I'm so emotional when I say this, you know. So the love that an orphan child gives him is more than what his real son and daughter have not given him. You know, very powerful, very, very powerful message and story. Then in the end, when the father and mother, you know, they write a story of their life, or the poems when they missed each other. This becomes a bestseller, and then they become very rich because they get big deals and all that. Then the very same sons and daughters who treated them like shit, they want to come back and kiss his ass. And he invites them to the party. He doesn't throw them out. He invites them to the party, and then he's standing next to the microphone when there are cameras and everything, and his children are there, but he lets them sit there, but he's looking more towards that orphan son. And he says, you know, he gives this emotional speech. I don't remember what it is, but it's so powerful that, you know, who you love, and, you know, it's about love, family, relationships. So, you know, these kind of movies remain in my heart, you know, about the realities of life. Sometimes I think, like, if tomorrow my own daughter, she disregards me or says, you're a mistake, or, you know, I'm mentally prepared for that, because as a small boy, my parents told me I was a mistake. My family told me that they were ashamed of me. So I'm very used to this. I'm very used to people, you know, putting me down, or, in fact, given my tattoos and the way I am, many people like to distance themselves from me. I've known so many people who were my friends, but they never wanted to show that they are my friends. Society, religion, religious people, family members. Even before the tattoos, they didn't want to associate with me. They would talk to me privately, but publicly, like, they will ignore me because they were afraid of their stature and what society would think of them. I remember my father, mother saying, what will society say? Oh, you talk so much. What will others think? Oh, you know, you did this or that. You have ruined our name. Especially Indian parents, they're very bothered about their name and prestige in society more than the well-being of their child. So maybe that is why this movie was a little emotional for me, you know. So what I want to tell you is, through this video, that we live in a world where you're judged by your money, your power, your success, your status. It shouldn't be a surprise to you. That is why for my wife, my wife's previous husband, even her boyfriend, they never showed her face on their social media feed. They were very ashamed. Even though my wife's ex-husband is, I think, a factory worker, and they do odd jobs, small jobs. They earn hardly, I think, a few, they earn $4-5 a month. They're not rich, they're poor. But still, they were ashamed to show my wife's ex-husband. He was ashamed to acknowledge that this was his wife. Her boyfriend was ashamed to show anybody that this is his wife. They used to never even take her out and never show on social media. He always showed he's single. That is why after she married me, I made sure every video, every photograph, I proudly showed this is my wife. And I told my wife, you don't have to put makeup, you don't have to do a surgery, don't have to put silicone, implants, nothing. Don't show you're beautiful at all. Show you're normal, without makeup, without filters. And she would tell me, but I'm ugly. I said, you're ugly, even I'm ugly. None of us are beautiful, none of us are models. For me, I'm proud of your simplicity. I'm proud of your natural beauty. I don't want you to be makeup, put clown. I don't need all that. I consider you very beautiful for me. That's all I want. For me, not for others. There are people who have even commented, your wife looks like a dog, a horse. I tell me, yeah, wife looks like a dog. I look like a pig. Some say my wife looks like ugly. I say, yeah, I look like a mutant. What do you expect? So some even have commented, oh, your child looks like ugly as you. Of course, what do you expect? Ugly father, ugly mother, ugly baby. I don't take it personally. And I will be teaching I've already taught my wife not to care a damn. I'll also be teaching my child. No matter what society says, no matter what anyone says, your self-worth is not money, is not your success, is not the likes, is not the social media. Your self-worth is you. Your self-worth should come from inside. That is why I've always kept my wife and my baby grounded. So to encapsulate, to conclude, now when my wife goes anywhere and people say madam and they stand up and they sweet talk, it no longer goes to my wife's head. My wife used to wonder why suddenly people are standing. Now she knows. I made her understand, and I've told her. That is why for me I don't feel great when people say sir and they stand up and they give me. I said this is all a passing phase. This is what money does to people. And this is the result of money. When they see money, they become sweet. They are not doing this for me. They are not doing this because they love me. They're doing it because they see some perceived benefit. The money or the power. They're hoping for some favor. Even me on social media or me as an online influencer. See, today I have people from CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera. I get these reporters, I get these rich guys and all that. It doesn't go to my head, man. Because you have it today, you might not have it tomorrow. So keep it grounded. And I'm a guy who has seen the worst of the worst days. I've seen days where I had to eat from the dustbin. Really, I had to eat from the dustbin. I lived as a poor man. So I've not forgotten my roots. And anytime I forget, I just watch the YouTube video, 2011 Loy Macedo suicide, where I was on the streets of Mumbai, going to jump in front of a train. Not forgotten that. Not forgotten how I was abused, tortured and tormented, how people were ashamed, and how people were ashamed to associate with. In fact, I even got rejected by the girl I wanted to get married on the same grounds. Loy, how can I introduce you to my family? How can I tell that this is going to be the father of my child? And the biggest, most painful insult was, Loy, how can I tell anyone that you're the father of my baby? What will society say? How can our baby go to school and say this guy, this freak is my dad? That really hurt me, But today, after I have my baby is proud of me, just as I'm proud of my baby. So, things worked out fine. So I just wanted to share this with you on a reality of life about how money, power, influence, sometimes can, misguide you. Don't let it go to your head. But keep in mind, the whole world will judge you based on these things. And if they give you love, affection, attention, it's all fake. Because the day you lose it, you'll see the ugly side. The ugly side might shock you. Because you'll see the real colors of people. Anyway, this is what I wanted to share with you guys. I have no idea if this added any value, whatever. But feel free to let me know your thoughts. Alright? You guys take care. I will go home now. It's late. Chal man. Put your comments down below. Take care.